Yes, I'm aware how dark it is. I'm aware how gloomy it is. And this heaviness in the air. I'm very well aware of that. It bothers me too. Now, should I really be doing another live stream right after I just did one? I figured, why not? I figured it's probably best to do it now. Oh, somebody's here. Isn't that lovely? I apologize for it being incredibly dark. So yeah, I just decided instead of the weekend, I'm gonna do it today and tomorrow. Talk about that site tomorrow evening sometime. I understand that the way I go live is really random, like sort of inconsistent. Sorry about that, but it's really hard for me to stick with, a schedule for some reason, because it feels like it should be something more spontaneous. But then again, of course, it would be a lot more convenient for other people to have a schedule, for the few people that watch. So, whatever, I'm just going to talk either way. I'm going to talk about consciousness and why and how it creates form, and what that form is. I'm going to talk about my NDE a little bit, and how what I felt like consciousness was in that ethereal realm, or how we can describe it really. Somebody said something. My comprehension of consciousness is that it's a field of life force energy that attenuates to the water molecules within the Yes, I'm going to agree with you on there. Each of us has a separate frequency in the field. Well, frequency is something I wanted to touch on a little bit. I tend to use, I have a specific term that I like to use for it. I call it quantum oscillating harmonics. And, sorry, just a second. Quantum oscillating harmonics is basically a ringing, or like a musical tone. Musical tone that defines or resonates into a frequency, and that frequency creates form. So when you're within God, within the ultimate 0 point, all those harmonies are free-flowing simultaneously, and they're oscillating in a perfect harmony, because every potential in form is expressed within that. So it collapses all of the frequencies and harmonics create this perfect tone, which collapse everything into an ultimate 0 point, a singularity that is not defined by spatial dimensions. There's no depth, no width, nothing that we could perceive to be an actual thing. It is simply the singularity that contains within it all of existence. And that existence, the root of that existence is, I believe, is light energy. Light energy that creates musical frequencies, and those musical frequencies create form. Now, it has had this light, the ultimate 0 point, has had all of eternity to express itself in an infinite number of frequencies to create specific forms being whatever you may see, or expressions of itself, and it filters those down. So still one person here. We have a warrior. Thank you. It filters those down into a funneling like effect. I think that the ultimate light, what we think of as God, sort of germinates the void with its seed. It plants another singularity. It's sort of a Mandelbrot set that has an infinite number of singularities contained within it, and it creates. So here's the confusing thing, though. Is the void, the infinite void, and the infinite light, so they're both dark and light, right? Are they the same? I would have to conclude that they are, that they're just different expressions of itself. So if you can maybe kind of look at God as like a yin and yang, maybe. I don't know. And it germinates a singularity into the void, which then again breaks down further in this sort of funneling effect, and expresses itself further in what we think of as universes, as galaxies. And those expressions then break down even further into more a smaller minutia of that of consciousness, of awareness. So if the initial seed turns into a billion galaxies, then those galaxies turn into planets or deities or whatever they may be. So one time a few years ago, I was drunk on 6 beers, and I hit a nitrous balloon and saw a world of infinite spinning gears and doors and corridors. They were all different worlds. Hence my name. Oh, I really like your name, by the way. Your name is absolutely excellent. Yeah, those sort of substances definitely have a tendency to give such experiences, or the potential for them. My recollection is more often than not, I had frightening experiences rather than anything else. All right. Probably not a good idea to go live today. But whatever, I'll speak for a little bit longer. So basically what I'm saying is that there's like a funneling effect that breaks down into smaller and smaller expressions until we reach like a sort of quantum stage. And the quantum stage is so when I say infinite, that also includes the molecular level. So I don't think that there is ever an end to an atom. I think it is sort of like the same Mandelbrot said that we see contained within the infinite singularity of God. That same infinite singularity has expressed itself in the smallest to the largest. So when I was within the infinite light, when I say there was no frame of reference, there was no way of perceiving spatial dimensions. It is literally true. You can't, there's no such thing. It was infinitely large and infinitely small simultaneously. So if something is infinitely large and infinitely small simultaneously, how is that any different than an atom itself or the smallest of particles? It really is all the same when it comes down to it, including our perception and awareness of it. So everything is contained and will always be contained within the singularity, because there is no... Oh, we got somebody else here. Yay, 2 people. Because there is no actual depth or frame of reference in the ultimate reality. There is only absolute zero. It collapses in on itself. I know I could talk to you for hours because you have been outside of it all. Probably experienced the void. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. I like talking. I mean, I love this place where I'm at, but it does get a little bit lonely sometimes, and this live stream is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome because that's what I want to do. I want to talk to you guys, So, yeah, so consciousness, ultimately, I do think it has a particle component to it. Not that I'm saying that it's matter or material, not at all. I'm saying that it has some sort of substance to it that is plasmatic, electric, magnetic, all of these components together. At least that's what I felt when I was in what I would consider to be my purest conscious form in the absolute zero realm. There was a magnetic component to what I was experiencing, and there was an electric component to what I was experiencing, in that, in the purest form, in the most purest sense. So, and it was all harmonious. It was all very musical, very musical. It was it was like a perfect rhythm of harmony, it with no perception, with no spatial dimensions, but it somehow worked absolutely in total perfection. And all of these conscious forms were like musical notes. I felt like I was one of the musical notes expressing itself with my own unique harmony, my own unique quantum oscillating harmonics. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to be in that state and that condition. Hey, Theog, how you doing? So we're discussing how what consciousness is, why it creates form, how it creates form, and what I feel, my personal opinion, is that what I just said, basically, consciousness is what I call quantum oscillating harmonics. It is a musical frequency that expresses form, an infinite note, an infinite musical note, like a ringing tone, and that ringing tone oscillates to create expression, and that expression can create itself in an infinite varieties of ways, because the singularity, the absolute zero of God, the totality of all that is, has been infinitely creating those same forms. I know, I'm like probably confusing myself at this point. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? So Theog says, does your NDE make it hard to be here? Very hard. Very hard. And then, Jack Peterson, I think of God as every conceivable state. Yeah, it is happening all at once for all eternity. Yeah. And that is why I call it the realm of absolute zero, because you think of zero as a circle and everything. Imagine a circle that expands forever. Like you start off a circle and it does not end. It is just an infinitely growing circle. But then again, it contradicts itself in a way too, because it is infinitely large and infinitely small, because there is no perception. There's no frame of reference. It is all that is, right? So, yeah, as far as the NDE, extremely hard, especially right after it. I went down into a deep, dark hole, and I had, a hellish out of body experience. That's what it led me to. And then the confusion of experience, both extremes, left my mind in a total jungle for years, and kind of still does, to be honest. It's hard, yeah. It's total duality, absolute love and light, and to absolute darkness and evil. But, I still try to appreciate being here anyway, because there's still something magical about being in this form sometimes. There's still something magical about it, especially as a child, when you still have that thirst for adventure, that sort of innocent perspective where every moment seems like an adventure, and as an adult you try to recapture that moment, and it seems to come only very rarely. That's the thing that's really shitty, sometimes. But yeah, it is every conceivable. It's really interesting to me. It's like I keep saying, like almost every video I ever make, like existence is so fascinating to me. It's so strange. I do wonder why the singularity exists to begin with. I really do. I really don't even think that a lot of people even ask this question. They just, a lot, especially religious people, assume, oh, it's simply the alpha and the omega. It's all there is. And what's the point of trying to understand it if there's all there is to it? It just is. It is just is, yes. I discussed that before in a previous video, but why is it is? Why is the is? There's beauty here. We can find beauty in darkness if you choose. Yeah, and then some would say that you could find darkness and beauty too. It is kind of a matter of perspective in some cases. Almost religious people are just following their own. Yeah, they really are. I mean, not to be blunt, but it's the truth. I've experienced that firsthand, God knows, yeah. I think it can't not exist, like 2 + 2 = 4 always has to be true. All consciousness just has to exist. Yeah, I think Jack Peterson just hit the nail on the head right there. Like something as simple as 2 + 2 = 4 must exist, because it is just, there's something about mathematics too. I think by to something, there's also a mathematical component to all this, and when you think of the Mandelbrot set, it is also a mathematical fractal. So this singularity, I mean, you can kind of think of it as a matrix, sort of, right? I definitely don't think it's made up of zeros and ones by any means, but it has a numerical component to it for sure. Very few people question these subjects. Yes, that is true, Theo. That is true. And that's kind of sad, because I think part of the magic of being here is to ask questions. It is to be curious about, even things that are just incomprehensible to us, things that are just really crazy and out there. But that's part of the beauty of it. Rather, it's much better than just being a drone and just following orders and moving about your life like you're just existing, basically, right? Like that's what a lot of people do, and I've been in those states of mind plenty of times in my life where I felt like I was just existing too, just like a drone, like try to have as minimal of a thought process as possible, minimal meditative state. But now every day I at least try to be in a sort of meditative state at least once a day, a couple times a day if I can, and then, breathing and kind of internalize my awareness of everything and all of that. I think it's very healthy to do that, just to really just be present. At least give yourself time every day to be a little bit present. Nature is made of Fibonacci. We're ran by numbers. Yes, Fibonacci, that's a really interesting one. It's like basically exponential, right? I can't remember exactly how it works, but it creates like perfect spirals in nature, like a seashell, for example, and things like that. And another interesting one, including Fibonacci, is pi, the number pi, 3.14. So who decided that 3.14 goes on for eternity? That's what I want to know. Like, yes, I know there's genius mathematicians. My uncle, by the way, guys, my uncle is one of the top 10 in the world. And he's been trying to figure out some really complex math problems for decades that he's written books about and everything. He's an interesting character. Just a second. He lives in Mexico City, but he's Russian, so don't ask me how that happened. And he had a daughter, blonde-haired, blue-eye Russian girl that I've met quite a few times, who speaks Russian with a Mexican accent, and it's absolutely hilarious to look at. I don't know why the hell I just mentioned that, but I just thought it was funny. But she's adorable though. But yeah, no, pi. So it goes on forever, 3.14 eternity. So, but then again, here's the interesting thing about numbers in general. If all numbers break down to zero, the absolute realm of they only basically exist. So, okay, one of you said that they have to exist. Yeah, it has to be a fact. Yes. But it's not necessarily a fact in the absolute. I don't know. It seems like when that singularity breaks itself down in the funneling effect, at that point it becomes a fact. Before that, it is simply just a potential. But maybe not. Maybe 2 + 2 equals 4 in the absolute as well. It's an interesting thing to think about. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I could tell you that when I was in the realm, that there were individual, balls or energy fields of consciousness. Energy balls. I know it's a weird, energy ball. Let's just say energy ball. They were individual, but yet they were simultaneous at the same time, which is kind of strange. Like, you observe them individually, right, as you're in this ethereal realm, but it's almost like simultaneously they're part of the whole as well, which is also true for the entire reality, I believe, as well. So, all right. My question is, why are we not able to intentionally switch into other parallel realities and other versions of ourselves and other worlds? Why are we focused only here primarily? That's a great question. We do get glimpses of this, right? We talked about dreams. We do get glimpses of these parallel worlds sometimes in dreams, meditative states. But yeah, it does seem like our consciousness is just like really constrained in this one sphere. But I do think that it's also a learning process, that over time and over the eons as we evolve, that constraint is going to completely go away. Or it could be you're already there, but you've incarnated back into this to re-experience it again. And then when you return to where you came from, you're no longer limited by those things, right? Who knows who's here on this planet, right? There's so many interesting characters, right? So, yeah, I think that, I don't know, like, I have heard of yogis and, Indian gurus have been able to do crazy things just by focusing intention, because we're all idiots, yeah. Jack Peters said, I've wondered before if math could be completely different. And yeah, I think so. I mean, there's every conceivable possibility in existence. So there's antiverses out there, or there's black universes made entirely of neutrinos without any other particles, or like, oh man, I don't even know, like universes, antimatter universes, where time goes backwards. And why not? I mean, why not? Who says that there can't be? I mean, I don't. Can you imagine living in a Benjamin Button universe, like where you go backwards? I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know. That would be a really interesting experience. Infinite Quarter says maybe we're like toddler consciousness beings. This realm is slowed down and extra dense, so we don't manifest at the speed of thought and create too many fears. That's a great point. That's exactly what I was talking about when we did the live stream about the Matrix reincarnation trap stuff. So it's not that it's necessarily a trap, but it's possible that if you're a 3-year-old, right, you're not going to go up to let's say your dad's a construction worker and you're a 3-year-old, you're going to be like, give me the nail gun, give me the hammer, give me your work belts, give me those 2x4s. I'm going to go up to the 15th floor that's not even complete yet, and I'm going to start hammering my ass away. So, you know what? That's not going to work. I mean, it could be the same sort of idea. If you're a 3-year-old asking for dangerous tools, and the human race as a collective is kind of like that. We have nuclear weapons, right? So we're a bunch of 3-year-olds that could destroy the whole world, which I'm sure isn't a good thing. And Theog said, what if we aren't toddlers? What if we just wanted to experience? Yeah. Well, okay, with Infinite Corridors and Theo, I think you're both right, okay? So I think both of those situations are taking place here. So it isn't a one-size-fits-all scenario, like I've said before. Just as there is tons of variety on Earth and expressions of consciousness, there's tons of varieties of souls as well, expressing themselves here too. So it's really limited to think that it's only a reincarnation soul trap, only an alien prison, only Christian, only this, only that religion. It's all of the above. Like, even though I don't really believe in universalism like that, because the New World Order is gonna create that one world religion, but it's going to be like an inverted version of the truth, I think. So I'm careful when I talk about that stuff. But Okay, it should be a little quieter now. Likely. Oh, Nigel came. Nigel, we've been discussing the complexities of consciousness and what is consciousness. So, even though me and you already decided that everything simply exists, we're still infinitely curious and want to know more. It's not enough. It's never enough. So we keep asking questions. Likely, yeah, we experience all at the same time. We're stuck in our linear thinking. Exactly. Maybe it's because we still perceive in a linear way. When will we finally drop to think we have more access to yeah. Check this out. Like, there is tremendous power in the mind. I mean, you really can alter things with focus. I think focus is the key. I don't know if this is true, so I'm not claiming. I saw this crazy picture the other day on Reddit, I think, and it was a Buddhist monk boiling himself in water. There was a fire underneath in this huge pot, and he was just sitting there meditating and chilling. And I've heard of stuff like that before. I heard of crazy, like even crazier things than that. So if that is actually true, if that actually happened, that's what you can achieve with a tremendous amount of focus. But we're so distracted by stuff. Like I am always distracted by something. So it's hard for me to focus, It's hard for us to focus, I think many of us. I'll have to watch this when you post it. Yeah, we're just chilling here discussing consciousness, Angel. Just trying to figure out what makes consciousness. Is it, musical tones, harmonics? Is it, does it have a plasmatic electric component to it? Why do we choose to express ourselves the way that we do instead of in other ways? It's just, it's just reality will always be mysterious. Yeah, a few weeks ago I made that video. The singularity the infinite God point, the ultimate zero, we'll never know the reason why it exists. Because once it does, it will self-destruct. That sounds so stupid. That sounds so silly, but I mean, anything is possible. Like, it's so strange though. Like, reality just keeps getting stranger and stranger. I don't know. Another question I have is, why does it usually seem so hard to raise our frequency to very high levels like samadhi and bliss? Maybe at one point in the past we could. Well, it is hard because we're being bombarded with, never-ending mountains of filth from the environment, from, frequent, like electronic frequencies, from all this stuff. And then we have the Mandela affected Earth problem, which at least is a problem to some of us, especially. Oh, damn, Becca's here. That's why he calls himself I am that I am. Yeah, Angela just made a good point. Should we experience bliss with so much suffering? Yeah, that's exactly. Well, that's the thing. If we are all one, and ultimately we are, if one of us suffers, then all of us suffer. So it's literally true that one creature that's suffering brings down the consciousness of the entire realm. That's how powerful each individual expression of consciousness is. You hurt one, you hurt all. Imagine if we had that mentality in life in general, instead of preparing for war like we are right now. If we thought to ourselves, if I hurt one, then I hurt all. And it isn't our nature to do that. I've hurt plenty of people. And then we eat animals. I eat less meat than I used to, but I still eat it. But then again, that's part of this system where everything is like a Ouroboros consuming itself and eating itself in order to survive. It's like a chain of suffering. It's designed that way here, I think. So much suffering here, yeah, Dan. Tis the question. Just the TV on causes waves. Yeah, the TV. Yeah, it's programming, right? We discussed that the other day. Why do they call it programming? Well, we know why. So, because it programs you. And I think a TV emits, I don't know if it's theta waves or it emits frequency waves that are similar to being in a sleep state. So when you're watching TV, you're literally hypnotized. So it is bad for you. That's for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to go until 40 minutes. So it's at 36 minutes right now. And that's another strange thing here. Why design a realm where life eats life? Why not everything live on sunlight and water alone? Yeah. Well, I'm sure there are plenty of realms that are exactly like that, plenty of realms. And maybe it used to be that case here too. I do believe there used to be, some kind of golden age at some point. So it's, maybe the cycles, the downfall, and then you come back up again, and then you fall again, and then you come back, the macro and the micro, right? In life, you fall and you rise again, and just like you, then the whole world does the same. I don't know. The black box of Saturn. Yeah, the Mecca cube that droves of people travel from all around the world to just walk around this cube for some reason. I'm not gonna go into that right now, though. This is duality. This realm is about. It is about duality. But then again, okay, I think there are many different varieties of duality too. There's different extremes, so to speak, right? I think here we're at extreme level 99. If the most extreme is 100, we're at about 98, 99 over here. I'm sure there are a few alien worlds that are worse, though. I'm sure of it. But that's just how it is. You win by showing love. Yeah, you do. Duality, huge component to life. Yeah. Can we win this game? Of course. I mean, but if we're infinite, right? Then why win? Like, why win? If everything it just is, then why be concerned about winning? I don't know if winning. We're gonna win it either way because we are evolving our consciousness. So it's almost inevitable. Like once the seed is planted, it's good that the flower is gonna grow. That's how I see us too. Once the seed is in the ground, nothing's gonna wash it away. It's gonna grow into a beautiful flower eventually. Get abandoned. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that is a tough, yeah, what do we win at, The way to win is to be the purest expression of who you truly are, I think. To be who you, at least try to be who you perceive yourself as who you truly are, which I don't even know that is yet for me, so, anyway, did anybody before any creepy video I made before? If you avoided that, I don't blame you because I think that those babies are real. And what that even means, I don't know, but it's kind of giving me a concerning feeling about it. Yeah, know thyself. Seek the truth. Yeah, learning to love evil people is the key to... Oh, yeah, it's so hard to... That is a tough one, though. I mean, yeah, learning to love evil people. Yeah, well, here's the thing, everyone does have the potential for evil. I mean, everyone does. Given the right circumstances. Um, look, like during 1933, and like for example, I was gonna go, but let me just finish this point. During the famine in the Soviet Union, where my grandmother had family members who died from starvation, um, perfectly good, normal people became cannibals, right? They were perfectly good peasant farmers, good Christian people. In some cases, killed their own children and ate them. And I'm sorry to be harsh, but that's what happened. So everyone, given the right conditions, can do the wrong things. So in that case, I think it is important to try to love what we perceive to be evil. But then again, there are selfish scumbags who enjoy hurting other people, right? Those are the hardest ones to love. Um, all right, it kicked me off. All right, let me just read these comments and I'll go. I know I want to level up out of this 9 cents. I'm ready to fight the big boss. Right on. I think it allows it to continue. Yeah, you don't have to agree. The point of our discussions is not to agree. We're all trying to figure out, what's going on here. Nobody has the exact answers. It's actually good to disagree. The crowd falls to the lowest common denominator of level of anybody is capable of perpetuating evil. That's exactly what I just said. Yeah, but there are literally people who are in great circumstances. Rich people. Anyway, you guys already know all about that. So, who are just literally just evil. They're selfish pigs, and that's how it is. I mean, there's also that component to it too. So I'd kill myself first. The fleshly, yeah, it's hard. The flesh is hard. All right, guys, everyone have a good night. Peace out, y'all. I'll do the live stream tomorrow evening, like around 5 on that creepy website that you don't have to go to because I will do it for you. So, peace out, guys.